On January 1st, thousands of Ukrainians woke up with no heat. Russia stopped supplying natural gas to Ukraine because of a pricing dispute. What began as a clash between two nations eventually spread across Europe. 18 European countries were without natural gas for more than 10 days, including Romania, Greece, and the Czech Republic. The issue? Money. Because of the economy, Gazprom, Russia's gas monopoly, is in debt and needs to recoup revenues lost by falling energy markets. Gazprom supplies Ukraine with a gas subsidy of $200 per 1,000 cubic meters. In December, the company asked for a price increase of $50. When Ukraine refused, saying it simply couldn't afford it, Russia doubled the asking price. Back in 2006, Russia halted supplies to Ukraine for 4 days in another pricing dispute. Initially, delivery was only cut to Ukraine. Later, all Europe-bound delivery was stopped when Russia accused Ukraine of siphoning from other pipelines. Europe gets about a quarter of its gas from Russia, 80% of which comes through Ukrainian pipelines. The hardest-hit countries included Moldova, Bulgaria, and Bosnia. During a yearly missions trip, members of the West Highland Baptist Church were caught in the dispute. With only a week left to go in their trip, they found themselves with no heat. John Mahaffey and Paul Garrix were recently in Bosnia, one of the country's hardest hit. Both men say news about the gas cutoff wasn't a surprise to many people.
I wouldn't say there was a state of panic, but concern. It wasn't, mad lineups of people in the stores, wrestling to get these heaters, but they were going quick. They were disappearing. It was well advertised. It was in all the papers, on the local news, so everybody knew of it.
The morning that we found out this happened, as we were leaving our apartment in the car, there was this elderly woman. She's up there in age for sure, and she had an axe and she was attempting to cut the wood, and that was sort of a big eye opener for me. I've never seen that anywhere. That sure wouldn't happen here in North America.
Mahaffey and Garrix, used to Canadian winters, admit at times it was hard coping with the cold.
The gym where we were playing ball hockey at that time with a part of the hockey club there, and the windows were open in the gym and there was no heat in the gym, so it was minus 15 in the gym. But then when we went back to the apartment, again, no heat. One of the guys we were with actually got into a sleeping bag, boots on, jeans on, coat on, hat on, and just went right into a sleeping bag. It was that cold. The bedroom was about minus 15.
I had two socks on. I had some track pants underneath my jeans. As far as my upper body, I must have had close to 10 to maybe sometimes even 16 layers on. Just with fleece, a lot of t-shirts, long sleeves. I had cold gear for Under Armour, which keeps you pretty warm. That wasn't really doing much. The washrooms that we were using there, around the sink and everything, there was ice. Ice was forming. People, even around the toilet, there was ice inside the toilet.
Although they had a tough time with the weather, both men say most of the people they saw took the cold in stride.
To me, it just seemed like they just toughed it up. They maybe throw in an extra layer, but everyone there is very stylish, people walking in nice shoes, jeans, the women, nice jackets and things like that. Where I was just, I don't care how I look, I'm gonna look nice and fat and walk out. But it bothered them, but not to probably the same degree as us.
Many have wood heaters, wood stoves, and or electric, so I think people were doing what they could, although we did find some families that were associated with the kids in the hockey program that had no heat. And that allowed us to help out.
And help out they did. While they were there, Mahaffey, Garrix, and another church volunteer donated money to buy 8 electric heaters for families in need.
We asked the kids on the hockey team after hockey one night, we said, is there anybody here, any of your families without heat? And none of them put up their hand, but they came back the next day and said, I have a neighbor, a lady who has no husband and 2 kids, and she goes out to work, they have no heat. And I think what was really neat was that we had the young men on the leadership team, these young Muslim men. You guys go deliver them to the families, and you tell them that this is on behalf of the Sports Foundation. But it also gave us an opportunity to show Christ's love to the community. And in fact, one of the gentlemen that was with us was able to share with one of the kids, that's what Jesus said, whatever you do for the least of these, you do for me. And he said that. That's why we're doing this.
Mahaffey and Garrix were in Bosnia supporting missionary Brad Collins' Bosnia-Herzegovina Sports Foundation, a hockey ministry for young Muslim boys.
Brad had 3 main goals when he started 7 years ago. Get kids off the street, get them through high school, and get them into college. So we work with the young men who are Brad's leadership team. They're in those 17 to 20, 21 age group. And then there's about 60 other kids, younger kids, that we run the hockey camps for. But our focus really is on Brad's leadership team.
The foundation has been in Bosnia for 7 years, and for the last 3, members from West Highland have gone to lend a hand.
The big emphasis was to build a relationship with them, and then with time, hopefully, God willing, we'd be able to share a faith. So I tried that a lot with a lot of the guys. It was great. Didn't get a chance to really present the gospel, straight up, but just little things here and there. The group is close. I think there's a lot of them that they've heard it enough. They've tiptoeing around the whole thing of Christianity and things like that. But I just pray that someday soon that they get really serious and start asking us questions.
In the early 90s, years of civil unrest and Bosnia declaring independence in the former Yugoslavia led to a 4-year war in which hundreds of thousands of civilians were killed. Atrocities, carried out mostly by Serbian forces against Bosnia's Muslims, characterized the war. As a result, Garrick says, there's a mistrust of Christians among Bosnian Muslims.
The people, particularly in Sarajevo and in Bosnia, associate Christianity with the Serbs, who are Orthodox Christians primarily, but with that and all the killings. When you say, "Hi, I'm a Christian," they associate you with the people who killed their father or their uncle or their mother. So to earn the trust of the boys is one thing, but even them, when they go home from the hockey program, will get grilled. What did they do? What did they talk to you about? What went on? So it's very slow going.
Though the war ended more than a decade ago, both men say the country still has a long way to go.
It's almost like the whole city has stood still for that many years. It just hasn't moved forward with the rest of the world. There's no money there. There's no dollars for infrastructure to fix things. For example, the whole hockey program, we go there, they have ice. It's a city of 500,000 people. They have one arena with ice, and it has ice for 1 month out of the year.
I think the country just itself has a lot of potential in so many vast areas. The landscape is beautiful. Some of the architect is very gorgeous as well. But you look at some of the people, and some guys were walking around, no legs or one leg, a lot of scars. One of the gentlemen's working with the Sports Foundation. He's actually missing half his jaw. So in that sense, it's sort of pretty unscaring. There's still mines in various areas of the city or in the outer regions.
Though most of Bosnia still has no heat, West Highland member Alan Beach isn't worried. He's leaving for Bosnia in 3 days and plans to pick up where Mahaffey and Garrick's left off.
Well, we've planned to put teams in Bosnia for the whole month of January, and we've spaced them out in 2-week intervals. So this is my turn to go. I'm excited about going. I'm excited about what God's going to do when we're there. We've really looked at this as God just placing us in the middle of His work, and the heat is just part of that.
Despite everything they've been through, Mahaffey and Garrick say the trip was well worth it.
For me, it was very eye-opening. I've done a lot of short-term missions, weekends here and there. Always been in country, in province. Heading to Bosnia, big challenge for me. What have I learned? Number one thing, just trust God. I'm a A-type personality. I like structure, like 10 minutes here, 20 minutes to get there, things like that. In Bosnia, don't set any plans in concrete for sure.
For me, this was the best trip out of the 3. Despite the adversity, we had a chance to build some very deep relationship with the kids, to share our faith. I had that opportunity to continue to just show them why we're there, to show them the love of God, and to clearly say to them that that's why we're here.
12 people have reportedly frozen to death since the dispute began more than 10 days ago. On Monday, Russia and Ukraine signed an agreement in which Ukraine will pay up to $250, the original asking price, and Russia will pay reduced transit fees. Both fees will be increased in 2010. For now, at least, it looks like Europe has seen the end of the deep freeze. For 100 Huntley Street, I'm Bridget Entry.